is Eternal. We are finally getting this show back on the road, and we have Nightlight on the Artist here against the survivors of Calamity. This is going to be a very exciting set, and I am joined by ssbkid on the desk here. Thank you for coming to cast with me today. And what do you think is going to happen here with Nightlight on this Artist?
I'm not really 100% sure just because, after having to wait quite a bit and now kind of getting back into the swing of things, it's like, a lot of these guys, are kind of also watching and consuming everything that's going on around us. And now they have to immediately switch it to, okay, it's time to play comp now, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens right here. And I think, yeah, we're already on chases as well. So Nightlight going on to Hein right now, finally getting that tag, going to push him into, around this rock, going to try to find something here potentially. Is that going to be, yeah, nice
like
BL right there. Yeah.
Fine with the balanced landing, and he's going to go over to this broken truck tile. He's got good distance here, but Nightlight is going to be probably setting up some birds here. It looks like he's trying to keep it in the corner. Bird is not going to go out there, and okay, so he is going to get zoned edge map. Was outside of that 8-meter damage radius for the bird, but he is eventually going to go down in the corner. First generator is going to pop in the distance. Nightlight here, actually, he doesn't have Corrupt Intervention. This is a very interesting build, which with just Ruin with the Pentimento, and then Noed and Agitation. So the Agitation is really interesting with Pain Resonance banned, as we know now. So he's purely going to be using that to just get to a hook that's kind of in the open that he really wants to have. And yeah, so he's going to send some birds, finds a bit of killer instinct there. But with 2 generators already done, like, what is Nightlight going to be holding on to here? Can he really afford to camp this hook?
Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure. He is trying to find some info. I think just trying to realize, try to get a good gander of where everyone else is at. But that's like the big thing about not running Corrupt.
He gets cross-map damage onto Rocket there. Sorry to interrupt you, but that was an incredible cross-map shot from Nightlight.
Yeah, no, definitely really good shot right there. Just trying to maybe just get more info. And I mean, that's a ton of value right there for sure, right? Like able to actually at least get a tag, right? Now you have to force someone, is Rocky going to play injured, or are we going to see them potentially take time to maybe reset a little bit? So, but right now we're just looking for, this confirm into stage 2. And that's exactly what Nightlight's trying to get. Maybe tries to find something here, knows that someone was on that generator, knows that Rocket was on that other generator across map. But now it's time to see if maybe Laser or Marco is around, maybe trying to, get this pickup right here off the hook. But not looking to find anything right here, though.
Oh, but he finds Laser. That's the only healthy survivor here. And Laser's going to be the only one that can safely go for the unhook here. And he's actually going to be running away from the hook. Very interesting there, as looks like Nightlight might be setting up a bird trap onto Laser on that generator. Rocket finishes his gen in the distance, and Hein is going to be eliminated soon. It's going to have to be Laser going in for possibly a trade here, unless maybe Calamity is confident that they can just let Hein die and finish the generators. I know, okay, so Marco is going to get reset in the distance. Hein is almost dead, and nobody is coming in for Calamity. So Hein is going to be eliminated. They get a reset onto Rocket in the distance, and I'm not sure if this was the correct choice here. They still do have 2 generators remaining, and I know they have to have some progress on these generators, especially to be confident just letting Hein die on the hook. So 3v1 with 2 generators remaining. These next chases for Calamity are going to be so important. They have a lot of resources left on the map because Hein did not use very much in his first chase.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's so much like available, for Calamity throughout the map. And I think, just the fact that there's no pain res, there was no corrupt, right? I feel like they were able to get a ton of early progress on these gens that they can at least, exchange a couple foot stages for the sake of getting these last 2 gens done, which looks like, they're pretty much content on doing. Are we going to see the tag on the Rocket? Yes, we are. And now you kind of zone them into this area, but there are still 2 gens on the other side of the map too. So as Marco gets this gen done, and yeah, now it's a little bit more difficult for Nightlight to deal with. I'm not really sure what the end result's going to be here, but this, we're probably going to get all 5 generators done unless we see a big misplay from Calamity.
Yeah, and we know that Laser is in this part of the map that Nightlight is checking now, and he's been working on the generators uncontested. He's not able to convert that chase on Rocket into a down because the generator popped right next to him. He's also going to leave Laser as well, and now Marco and Rocket are doubling a generator across the map. We see Adrenaline on Laser. Keep that in mind for later if Chase does go on to Laser there, as they are doubling that generator near the shack. Laser is going to want to take them as far away from that generator as possible and have a really good chase here. What can the captain of the team come up with here? I guess he's actually not going to be under pressure as Nightlight chooses to leave him and go straight back to the gens. He lands birds onto Rocket, who's going to use the locker to remove them. Nice play there from him, but Rocket needs to be very careful here because he's injured. He does not want to give a quick down here. I'm not sure if he makes this pallet. He paths around the outside. Mind game coming in from Nightlight, but a nice hit there from Marco to save his teammate Rocket. And now he's going to be chasing on this filler edge map. Definitely just going to get zoned by the Artist power here. Is going to take the bird hit, but he's dying in a very good spot, so Nightlight doesn't feel like he can pick up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, while that tile in itself is like probably not very good against someone like Artist who can just zone you out, just like we saw. Just like you said, you know, that's a really rough spot to go down at, you know, if you're Nightlight, because now you kind of have to at least try to pressure, maybe getting a 2-slug, and then finally starting to pressure Laser. But you got to think that Laser's still working on this gen right now too. So here comes the zoning out again that we saw, and this is exactly what we saw earlier. Now that chase happened a little bit faster. That took not as long as I thought it would, and now Laser has to leave a little earlier, and Rune's just gonna do its magic on that gen too. So that's gonna be like a full reset needs to happen, you know. But Laser's gonna need to be able to stealth out Nightlight's birds first.
Yeah, so Laser successfully stealths out in the shack. He's probably going to be... Oh, but he gets found going back to the hook. He's not going to take damage from the birds just yet, but he is going to have 2 people swarmed here. Laser drops the shack pallet, bird shotgun coming out, but he drops into the basement to dodge it. He's injured though. He needs to get out of the basement, and Nightlight is going to get the bird hit onto him. Very good killer pathing there from Nightlight to cut off all of Laser's options, and he's going to be dead, presumably in the basement.
Yeah, literally, like, maybe 3 minutes ago, we were like, man, this looks really rough for Nightlight, and just like that, he has all this pressure on these survivors now. Everyone's hurt. You have 2 hook stages, you know, two more fresh hooks, 1 person in the basement, and everyone's injured. Ruin is still up. Like, I feel like it kind of just, like, flip-flopped out of nowhere.
Yeah, so Marco's going to use that locker again to remove the birds, and Nightlight is he's just going to keep pummeling Marco with birds, and he knows that one of these survivors is in this deep corner working on this generator. He knows where everybody is right now. He's got perfect information with these birds, and that's going to allow him to play for even more pressure here. He sets up a slingshot bird there, but it's not going to connect onto Rocket. That would have been an incredible highlight play if it had hit. Going to put some pressure here onto Marco. He's just continuing to kind of proxy this basement, which is exactly what he should be doing as killer. With 2 injured survivors that he knows where both of them are, neither of them can really come in for this save when Nightlight keeps moving back and forth in the middle of the map.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, it definitely looks like, you know, they have to, like, I feel like they have to fully reset, but either way, it's still going to confirm into a stage 2. And just like you mentioned earlier, just for people who don't know, slingshotting is when you put the bird, like, you displace the bird so you can get a double hit with 1 send, right? Does that sound right? Or...
Yeah, he places 1 bird very close to the person that he wants to hit, and then places a shotgun of birds far behind that, so that the second like set of birds will impact the survivor when they already have the first bird on them. It's pretty hard to hit, but he's got a lot of time to try to set them up here while he's camping Laser in basement. And it looks like a save is going to be coming in. Is that? No, that's not even balanced landing from Marco. I don't think he gets this.
No, I don't think so either. That's why you see him run away, because he knew that at that point it was all for naught. And like you said, we did see the adrenaline, but unfortunately it's on the Laser. And now, yeah, you see Rocket leave a little bit early just so he doesn't get tagged by the birds for info, but Nightlight still finds him anyways. And just like that, we are looking at a 4K1 right here, which is crazy to think about, because, you know, no corrupt, obviously pain res being banned, right? Like, it just feels like they didn't have Nightlight did not have a ton of early pressure to start off with, and then out of nowhere, Nightlight just does what he does best. He just brings it all the way back. I mean, this is what happens when you're one of the best comp DVD players on the planet. So
Yeah, and I just want to note that this is Artist on Wrecker's Yard. Artist is a very strong killer. I would say that a 4K here is expected, personally. So I think Calamity can be happy with all the early pressure that they had. They definitely won't be very happy about how it all kind of fell apart in the end, but they really had something going there, and I think they can be proud that they got down to at least 1 gen, and their killer should be able to at least get close to matching this result. I mean, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for Calamity to get a 4K2 here, or even tie with a super strong killer like Artist. There's a lot of things that can go wrong on the Survivor side, as we just saw. DBD is a game with so many variables, so Calamity is going to be flipping to the killer side here, and I think this is still anyone's game.
yeah, definitely could be anyone's game. Obviously, it kind of just depends on who is playing, who's surviving for Eternal, because obviously, not to air out anyone's like dirty laundry, but I know like Zaka's been like focused on uni, so hasn't been playing if I'm not mistaken. So that leaves like Ivan or Spitz to like come in as like their fourth, because we're probably gonna see Nightlight, we're probably gonna see Dan, we're probably gonna see we'll see Ivan, maybe Roy. I'm not sure who's gonna play on their side, and it kind of just depends on who feels the most comfortable against Artists and who's killing for Calamity, right?
Yeah, and you know what? About Zaka, I don't think that's not dirty laundry. That's clean laundry. Zaka, good luck on your exams. Everybody is proud of you for focusing on your studies, so good luck on those exams. With that, we are going to be going to a short break where we flip Calamity to the killer side for the Artist. Don't go anywhere. We're glad to be back in the action, and we will be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the second half of the Artist set, right? We have Yokats against Dan, Nightlight, Zaka, and Royalty. So obviously, speak of the devil, Zaka back in business with us today. And so far, pretty early tags onto the birds right there. Oh, gets hit through that window, though. And we're going to see Royalty as well. I feel like we've seen a lot of Spitz. We've seen a lot of Ivan recently. So, this is more of the original core of Eternal. So it would be nice to see how they fare up against Yokats right now, Prion.
Yeah, as Royalty in danger here, hit with the birds. He goes up onto the hill, going to just barely dodge that follow-up bird, gets the killer instinct on him as well, and Royalty now continuing chase. He's got a filler pallet here, but these historically aren't very strong against the Artist. He's going to set the bird up, but Royalty vaults into the bird and doesn't take the damage. Very nice play from him, but it looks like now he is going to be zoned. Goes around the rock and into the comp corner. So that's going to be the first down for Yokat. And you know what's interesting here is that this is the second game in a row of no corrupt intervention on Artist. And what that tells me is that these Artist players have gotten so good at picking out exactly where the survivors spawn that they're just that confident with hitting a bird right off the rip. And we've seen that now twice in a row. So no corrupt intervention on either killer. Looks like the survivors were not opting to double a generator, or else one probably would have popped there. As we get some information onto Zaka across the map, they're splitting these generators, looking to punish maybe the lack of other regression perks besides Ruin. And the Forced Hesitation as well, ssbkid, is really interesting as a pick. I'm not sure if... I mean, I said this in the last game with Tremor, is that I don't really like the Forced Hesitation pick, because it seems like the scenario that they are wanting to use it for ends up not happening when they bring it.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, like the scenario I would imagine, whenever you're trying to trade hooks or trying to get like these like panic pickups off the hooks, but people are injured, I feel like are the only situation where Force Hesi can really come into play and like you actually get value off of it. But usually people are coming to get hooks, fully healed because they're trying to trade or they're trying to tank an extra hit, right? So, and kind of piggybacking what you said off of no corrupt, I feel like you're just able to check 3 or 4 gens all at the same time right off the rip. Especially if you run the egg, you can check 4 to 5 gens even. So, but we're gonna see the gen get done pretty much anytime right now. Good job on the Zaka understanding maybe the birds were coming, so he gets off a little bit sooner. Still gets the gen done before the troubles, and 3 gens already done in the distance.
Part of the uniqueness of this Artist set for survivors is that when the survivor is on the hook, they're making precise comms to their team. Birds going here, birds going there, and the survivors will get off of the gens in time to dodge them. As the unhook comes in onto Royalty, Dan and Nightlight are both going to take a tag, and you know what that means. That means forced hesitation doing absolutely nothing here. As Royalty is going to take another bird, he's playing the shack here, the pallet is gone, bird shotgun is going to be coming up here. I don't think he can dodge that, and Royalty is going to go right back down. So, doesn't get value out of the forced hesitation, but Yokat is going to get an early kill here. He really needed this because the survivors of Eternal had expertly split up 3 generators, and now he's going to be in the same position that the survivors of Calamity were in last game, with 1 person dead, 2 generators remaining, and if he can get a snowball going here, he might be able to get this actual win con for Calamity, not the tie con.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big things right now is that, you know, we're in the same, like you said, the same situation, but now everyone, we have 2 out of 3 survivors that are injured. So now I'm assuming Dan and Nightlight are probably going to take time to reset, unless, you know, they're okay with it snowballing right here. And we see, you know, we kind of just see Dan getting spotted out, I believe. So now it's going to come down to, you know, how long can Dan fare in this situation right here? Is it enough time for Zaka to get this other gen done? Because I feel like if Dan goes down, Zaka's going to be the one that has to go, unless Zaka can, Nightlight can rotate over and maybe get a reset onto himself.
Dan is pathing really well here. Even though he's injured, he does not let Yokat get any distance onto him, and Zaka will continue to work that generator at the crane for free. We're going to be at 1 generator here any second, as these survivors of Eternal are pathing so well, keeping distance from Yokat, and Nightlight here is going to be caught in a dead zone, but I'm sure the other survivors are going to use this time to maybe reset Dan and also get on the last generator here. So Tycon has been met for Eternal. They are going to need just 1 more generator to take the win in this set. So Yokat is going to have to place this hook very deliberately in order to protect his totem and protect as many generators as he can. Nightlight going to go up on that fresh hook, but now he has to worry about where Dan and Zaka are. He's going to send out 3 birds and find absolutely nothing. Seems like he might have somewhat of a 3-gen setup here around the hook.
Yeah, perhaps maybe a 3-gen setup on the hook, and like you said, like this where Nightlight got hooked had to be so specific. Like you said, had to be in a good enough position where he can kind of cover everything. And Agi certainly helps, but I feel like in this situation, yeah, it does look like a little bit of a 3-gen actually. So this will be really interesting because I feel like this would be super doable if Roy was still alive. I feel like, you know, only two survivors able to actually, you know, do stuff. I feel like it's a lot more difficult, but I mean, in this situation, we've seen how they pass. We've seen how they. Oh my God, you can actually see the gen being worked on, like in that position. Like it like sneaks out of the tile a little bit, so you can see the sparks. So you know when to shoot the bird, and you know when they're coming for the save, and it looks like right about now. So.
Oh, he hits the hook survivor. No way. That is the only way that Yokat could have lost his advantage there, and it happens. He hits Nightlight on the hook instead of the unhooking survivor, and now he's going to be going after Zaka, the fresh hook. He is going to have a pallet here, but he's just going to hold W away from it. Oh, nice pathing there from Zaka. He's actually going to go back to this filler pallet at the cars. Does he make this though? Yes, he does. Zaka going to be continuing to chase on the car tile here. Good check spots coming in. That pallet is going to be broken by Yokat, and Zaka is going to path deeper into the corner of the map. But ssbkid, he's going back into the generators. What is their plan here? He's going to be getting a hit from Dan. He's going to try to get it with the bird, but no, he's going to take an M1. And Zaka continuing to stay at the shack. What is going on here, ssbkid? The pathing, I can't understand. He's too close to the gens.
Yeah, a little bit too close right there. Maybe their priority was just to get ruin done. However, now comes the situation where you can get force hesi value potentially here if you're able to down someone quick enough. But I'm not actually sure what the thought process from Yokat is right here. Unfortunately, not able to actually get anything. And now Zaka's back on the gen, no ruin, but he does interrupt the reset, which is actually pretty good because I assume the thought process was if you get this reset, you chase Zaka and then someone comes and hit tanks again. So unfortunately not able to work out for Eternal, but they're looking really well so far.
Yeah, and Yokat feels comfortable enough to go for this chase outside of the gen setup now because he knows that they spent all that time doing Ruin, that they're not really going to have that much gen progress, but now he's leaving chase with Nightlight, and he's going to find Dan here at a pallet gym. This is mind gameable. Dan holds W from the pallet gym, and he's going to go down. That's in agitation range. Oh, that's really not good for Eternal. They're going to be right back in the same situation they were before with when Nightlight was on the hook. They need to reset and get into a better position here because, I mean, this is so good for Yokat. He's right back in the same position he was before, and they have barely any gen progress.
Yeah, barely any gen progress, but you know, we do see the 2 resets, right? And now, okay, that's actually not too bad. Oh, but Severed Hands actually working out in his favor because now you can actually just, if you down Zaka here, force Hezi, you can catch up the Dan real quick.
Zaka somehow dodges that bird. That would have been forced hesitation going on to multiple people if he hit that bird onto Zaka. And now these survivors of Eternal are escaping deeper into the map. But Zaka's not going to make this pallet, and I believe with agitation, he's still in range to go onto that same hook.
Yeah, definitely still, I think, close enough. Yeah, Agi is definitely like really strong because you could just move all the way towards that near the shack, and that one hook is actually really good because it's smack in the middle of all 3 generators. So you know, this is actually really strong, and like you said, like we talked about, right, this force Hezi, you know, you see though, it's a very situational thing. Like it can provide you with a really big reward, but it feels like it's just so hard to put yourself in that scenario that I feel like you waste more time trying to put yourself in that scenario as opposed to doing other things that could provide more value, right? But so far, you know, Yokats is still making this work. He's still in this, right? Calamity's still in it for this first set. And yeah, you see Dan right here. Can we get this this rescue right here potentially? No.
No, it's going to be a 1-for-1, unfortunately.
This is Force Hezi right here, right? Yeah.
Yep, forced hesitation, now activating onto Zaka. Look how slow he is, chat. He's gonna only make it to this filler pallet here. His endurance is gonna be running out any second now. Follow-up bird is coming through, but Zaka is going to dodge out. But, I mean, where is he gonna go with the forced hesitation? He just can't make any distance, and he is going to go right back down. Pickup is coming in onto Dan. Bird comes out, but it's not gonna hit anything just yet. And luckily, Zaka is not death hooked just yet, but it seems like Yokat is choosing to slug him and go for more pressure. He knows that they have progress on this Shack gen, and I mean, this is just so much teamwork is being demanded from Eternal right now. They're taking hits for each other. They're working for double saves. They're in such a bad situation here, and now there's 2 survivors injured here, and oh wait. That was Medal of Man from Dan. What a setup from Eternal.
I was like, okay, I was gonna ask. I didn't pay attention to the perks Dan had, but I was like, why is he picking him up if he's injured? Isn't Force Hezi just gonna proctor again, right? And then you can just down both of them. But that makes a lot more sense now, actually. So Dan is like 1 step ahead of me, maybe like 5,000 steps ahead of me. But man, this is really entertaining to watch so far. These survivors, like you said, a lot of teamwork is being demanded of them, but they're providing that. They're supplying that for us right now.
Yeah, and that's why Dan went for that 1-for-1 as well, because that last hit where he went down and then was picked up by Nightlight, that was the last hit for him to charge Medal of Man, which allowed him to go in and help Zaka in that deep corner of the map. So incredible teamwork from Eternal. They're not out of the woods yet, but they are showing us so much strong teamwork here as Dan now is going into the corner. This corner where this other gen is just such a dead zone now, as Dan is going to get slugged, and presumably Eternal is doubling that Shack gen. Yep, Killer Instinct going to come out there on the birds, and yep, there's the double swarm from the Severed Hands. Follow-up bird coming in towards Zaka. Is it going to land? Yes, Zaka goes down. What a nice shot from Yokat. And Nightlight, now the only survivor standing.
Yeah, you saw Nightlight on the hill right through that window, so you're actually able to, yeah, you see the crows. You know that Dan is about to get picked up, so unfortunately not able to pan out the way once, and now just go after Dan potentially. You know Nightlight is just rotating over to try to get that pickup on the Zaka, but no, we see you're chasing both survivors at the same time. That's crazy. So, but they're able to actually make something work right here. And again, you know, you're kind of just going down. You're here where the gens are, and if you get hooked, if you're down, you just go right back onto that middle hook in between the 3 gens, and that makes it that much more difficult for you to keep working on it. However, all they need to do, it doesn't have to look pretty, but all they need to do is get this last gen done, right?
Yeah, and Eternal has had good pressure onto the Shack gen so far, and now that Zaka has been picked up, he can split up from Nightlight, and somebody will be able to pick up Dan, hopefully. But I think what Yokat is going to be counting on here is that it's going to be the injured survivor picking up Dan, and then he's going to have the 2 injured survivors in the same spot. As Nightlight now chasing at this Azarov's variant tile, as he's going to fake the window. Nice fake there from Nightlight. He's keeping his distance, trying to play his way back towards the pallet. He's going to make the pallet, but he's going to eat a bird in the process. With the slowdown from the bird, though, he knows he can make the window. As the reset in the distance is going on to Dan, and Yokat is suspicious that he hasn't seen those 2 survivors in a while. So reset is going to come in onto one of them very soon here at the broken truck. They must be 99ing their heals. Zaka now. Nope, Zaka's still injured. I'm not sure what happened there with that reset.
I feel like maybe it was a 99 heal, and then they waited for Dan. They like tried to 99 each other, and then just like one tap each other to get healed. And you know, as soon as they heard the terror radius or saw the birds, maybe they stopped healing, or maybe they like moved a little bit. Zaka fully healed now, and again we're now in a situation where you can take hits. So if you're Dan, you can build up metal men stacks. That generator's been kicked a little bit too much now, so now it's about to start getting to the point where you can't stop this pressure. You have to go for downs, you have to go for hooks. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I can't stress enough here how the teamwork from Eternal has brought them back from the brink. They had only 1 survivor standing. They've had multiple situations this game where somebody was hooked in a dead zone in the middle of a 3-gen with forced hesitation. And now they are back to all survivors healthy. They're playing for each other, taking hits, they're able to get out of this 3-gen. They're able to split up and pick each other up off the ground when they need to. And now, I mean, the pressure is mounting on these gens. They're splitting the gens very well, keeping distance from the killer. Just outstanding teamwork so far from Eternal, and it looks to be slipping out of Yokat's grasp the more and more progress they get on these gens.
Absolutely, it's starting to slip for sure, 100%. I mean, it's not impossible, right? And like you said, the display of teamwork is like one of the big things. Obviously, they're all very talented players in their own right, but we've seen talented players on other teams, you know, make misplays, and I feel like Eternal simply just doesn't mess up when it comes down to it. And right now, it does get the tag onto Zaka, but Zaka just runs down, right? And you know, Zaka knows, well, if I leave and go to Shack, Nightlight's just gonna finish this gen on this side of the map. But if I go somewhere else, then maybe Dan finishes the gen, gets the blind right there. No one home for it though. And now it's gonna come down to how fast can you get this down and force these survivors to get off the gens and go for the pickups. Because now I feel like you don't really need to hook. You could just, you could just leave someone on the ground, forcing the survivors to come pick you up.
What a stun there from Zaka. He dodges the bird, and the generator is completed by Nightlight. That is going to be Eternal taking a magnificent win over Calamity in this Artist set. They were in such a bad situation so many times, and they were able to bring it back every time with some amazing plays on double saves, on Medal of Man. And I just want to mention there, as a comp nerd, I can't help but notice that bird, he placed a bird in chase to send it to the gen that Nightlight was doing, and it did not hit. Got killer instinct, but it did not hit. That means that Zaka, who was in chase injured, made a split-second comm that a bird was going to Nightlight in time for him to move. That is just the level of teamwork that is coming out from Eternal here is too much for Calamity, and they're going to be going up 1-0 in this set.
Yeah, no it anymore either. So no kills, right? No hooks. And yeah, it's just gonna be a 3-hour right here. And yeah, like you said, a little bit too much for Calamity, but I feel like Calamity is one of those teams who we've seen time and time again, be so close and like able to step up to like these mega teams, right? We've seen Calamity step up to Eternal, to Elysium, to X9. We've seen them, have good results in past seasons as well. And now it's cool to see them that they still have it. I feel like this Eternal team just got better since they last went inactive, and to see Calamity still able to keep it close relatively is really cool to see, but Eternal just outlasting them just enough to get that artist set.
Yep, so Dan here going to be the sacrifice for Team Eternal, but they go up 1-0 in the series. So we are going to be going to a short break here while we change over to the next killer. Don't go anywhere, guys. Don't count Calamity out in any of these sets. They are not a team that anybody wants to face in a knockout situation, especially not late in the season here when every win matters. So still anyone's game. We're going to be going to a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome everybody to the Dead Dog Saloon here for the second match of Calamity versus Eternal, and we have the Wraith this time on Dead Dog Saloon. Rocket here playing the Wraith. He's going to already find a chase here onto the tap, which is going to be Spitz. He's going to find a first hit here. Rocket, the 1v1-esque killer for Calamity. Him coming in on the Wraith here is not what I would want to see if I was a survivor, as Shack Pallet is immediately going to be dropped here. And chase continuing onto Spitz. Looks like a hit might be coming in the distance from Dan, but oh, he gets mind game there on the window, and that's going to be a first down onto Spitz. Very nice play there from Rocket.
Yeah, definitely nice plays right there. And you predicted it earlier too, right? You know, this is, you know, the 1v1-esque killer. So, you know, seeing Rocket coming in, you know, stepping up for the second set. So it makes sense as to why, you know, they're very intent on this. Got a first down immediately as well. So this time we do see Corrupt back, but you know, not to, you know, he definitely needs it, right? Like I feel like it does have a lot of speed and mobility, but doesn't have the mobility to guard 3 or 4 gens all at the exact same time, right? It's more so bouncing from gen to gen to get info. And we're gonna get this hit right here potentially. No, just gets a little bit of that window though. So gonna get the unhook right here though. Really good stuff. And yeah, we're gonna see Nightlight coming in, taking the hit for Spitz, right? Can we see potentially a down right here from Rocket? That would be amazing. And no Shack Pallet either. Gonna have to get this pallet right here on the side. A simple mind game would suffice though. We're gonna see something here. Wait, you still make it, actually. No, never mind. Spitz doing a really good job, but I think that's the down right there.
Yep. Rocket not going to be biting that fake from Spitz, and that's going to be the second down onto our detective tap. Still with 5 gens remaining for Eternal. Rocket is having such a good start here. Eternal really needs to get some generators done because it seems like Spitz is going to be on his way out very quickly. Or they need to be making some sort of for the people play. Or, okay, so that's going to be a very important generator done for Eternal. And now chase onto Dan at the water tower. He's actually going to leave, though. He's wary of an unhook coming in onto Spitz. Probably wants to deny a potential for the people here. He's going to uncloak. No for the people going to come in, as Spitz is immediately going to take the endurance hit. This is his final chase. This is where we need to see that Eternal teamwork here. We need somebody to be taking hits for Spitz, or this game is going to be over in favor of Calamity.
Yeah, this is a this is really early if you get this down right here, but that's going to be the down. Does get close enough to the pallet, so, you know, if you're able to actually, you know, position yourself in the right way, you can get this pallet save. But unfortunately, you know, this is not necessarily the greatest situation to be in. We saw, you know, oh, gets the pickup. Can you make it to the pallet, though? You do make it to the pallet. Great stuff right there. Another gen gets popped in the distance. I feel like their gen progress is a lot slower this time around compared to last game, mainly because we saw them split really early, and we got that down very quickly, which is why we saw it take so long for one gen to get done, and we saw 2 stages on the Spitz, mainly because they were probably all split. Zaka's probably been the one like grinding those generators for sure. Dan and Nightlight being the more altruistic people, gets the head on into the cracker right there. Great stuff, delaying that death on the Spitz even more. And if you get to this window, this could be huge right here. Really, really smart stuff. Bamboozle though, can you make it to the other window?
Yeah, just one pallet save from Dan has bought so much time for Eternal. And now Spitz makes this pallet as well. He's chasing so well here. All he needed was that one hit from Dan with the pallet save. And now Dan is going to be able to take a full body block for Spitz as well. Another gen pops in the distance. And suddenly, if this chase goes much longer, Eternal is going to pop the final 2 generators. We were wondering where that classic Eternal teamwork was, and they delivered here as Zaka, now the final healthy survivor, is here to support with the flashlight, But no, Spitz is finally going to go down, trying to prevent that lunge with the flashlight. But before the people comes in from Zaka, right when I think Eternal is out of it, they come back with an amazing play. And Zaka on this flashlight is preventing Rocket from going for a prediction lunge. He can't look up at the survivor that he's trying to kill because Zaka is holding the beam on his face. Really great play there from Zaka. I mean, Spitz is eventually going to go down, but those flashlight clicks bought Spitz at least 15 more seconds.
Yeah, and 15 seconds can mean a lot if you're playing against Team Eternal. You know, you give them an inch, they'll give you a mile. You mentioned it earlier. You were like, where's that for the people save? And Zaka was like, I got you, bruh. I got you. Here it is. And able to get it. Now Zaka is gonna spend a little bit of time broken, so now, you know, if you're Rocket, you probably go for Zaka anyways. But you know, Nightlight obviously probably hard at work on a gen. Dan probably hard at work at a gen. No, actually they're resetting, which is actually fair because you need to be able to take hits for Zaka while he's broken. But as soon as I say that, it's up. So now you know, it looked really south. Like it looked like we were gonna get you know, someone dead at what, 3 gens left, 4 gens left, and now it's a little bit of a different story.
Yep, and this is still a strong position for Rocket, even though the survivors have all now reset. This next chase is going to be insanely important. This next chase is going to be very high pressure on whatever survivor it is onto, because this is the point in the game where you start to see the survivors. They have tiles depleted, and they need to make something out of nothing. This is where you start to see survivors go for crazy fakes and greeds on pallets because the resources on the map are depleted. So Rocket here, he's going to find Dan. Dan holds W away from the tile. Mind game coming out from Rocket, but Dan sees right through it, and he's going to make it back to this pallet. It's not a very strong pallet, but he holds W through it again. Does he make this TL window? He does. Nice play here from Dan. He's going to make it back to this filler pallet, I think. No, he's actually just gonna, no, he's gonna take a hit and go to main. So really nice time bought there from Dan. See, with absolutely nothing except for one bad pallet.
Yeah, one bad pallet, but a lot of great decisions made from Dan was enough to buy some extra time right there. And nice stealth right there from Nightlight, but unfortunately going to get bamboozled out of that tile, and that's going to be another tag right onto Nightlight this time. You know, I imagine Dan and Zaka either pumping a gen or getting this reset done, which is exactly what Rocket might be thinking also, because he just drops Nightlight, knows that there could be some pressure added. And every gen at this point, when you're killing first, you have to set the, you know, you're helping set the win condition alongside the survivors. So, you know, you have to give a ton of effort, and you have to stop these gens from getting done a lot earlier than you thought. Unfortunately, just gets that tag through the stun. Not going to work out in Zaka's favor.
Yeah, Zaka's chasing in a dangerous area here. He's got a couple of filler pallets here, but it's so unfortunate that he got hit through that god, or that wasn't a god pallet, but it is a very strong one. And now he is stuck at this very unsafe pallet. He's going to throw it and take the vault, but oh, Rocket gets auto-aimed, and Zaka might make shack window now. Yes, oh no, he gets hit with just the tip of the weapon. So Zaka is going to go down in the shack. And that's probably going to be either basement or another pain res here for Rocket.
Yeah, probably another pain res, just because you want to halt the mid game as long as possible, just so you can, you know, get as many hook stages before you go to 1 gen, you go to no gens, right? Potentially depending on what the result ends up being here. But so far, I mean, not too bad. Everyone's fully healed now, so now you're pressuring a gen, you're pressuring the hook save right at the same time, ideally, and now it becomes a little bit more difficult for Rocket to maintain. But obviously, you know, with Wraith's speed while he's cloaked, he's able to get from point A to point B relatively quickly, and we see that rotation, right? Rocket knows it, he understands the timing, and is able to get here, and now is going to pressure Zaka a ton here.
Yeah, he wants to tunnel Zaka here, but Zaka is going to at least make it to this front pallet of main. He's holding W, the uncloak comes out, and the lunge is going to secure the down onto Zaka. He wasn't able to really make it anywhere. I mean, he got away from that generator that had progress, but he's going to go straight back down, and I think this is where Rocket is going to choose the basement. Zaka is going to be on his second hook, I believe here. One generator is going to pop in the distance, so good progress there for Eternal. Rocket has to be worried now that somebody might be cranking the final gen. He knows that this gen near the gallows area did have quite a bit of progress. He doesn't have anything like Pop Goes the Weasel to regress it there. So if he wants to get big regression here, he needs to go after one of his fresh hooks, and that's going to be either Dan or Nightlight.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, speaking of one gen being pressured, we have two being pressured right now. Are we? Yeah, I feel like at this point you just prioritize getting the last gen done. Is 4K0 probably an average result on Raid, or do we usually see people getting outed against Raid?
So these Wraith results are insanely variable. We sometimes even see 4K3s if things go wrong for the team, but we've also seen very high outs as well, because these sets are so mechanical for the survivors. As Nightlight is going to 1-for-1 for Zaka. Good play from Nightlight here. It's going to take a long time. Oh, flashlight save? No, but it was too early. Nightlight was already in the hook prompt, and Zaka is going to go down for that. He did not get that stun, which means he's going to just straight up die. His endurance was gone. I can't believe that wasn't a save. That was such a risky play from Zaka. And Rocket is actually going to drop him and go for the last survivor standing, which is Dan. This generator is so close to being done, and Dan completes the gen in his face. Rocket, I don't know what happened there. Was he trying to kick the gen? Or he must have been holding spacebar, and then Dan just committed to it and said, if he grabs me, he grabs me. Just balls of steel from Dan here, and Eternal is going to get a 4K0.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, at that point, that little interaction could be the decider, you know, in maybe about 25 minutes from now, right? Like, I feel like that interaction could mean everything. So, like, definitely was very intent on just getting that gen done. And yeah, just like you mentioned, like everything being super variable, like which checks out, makes a ton of sense. So it makes sense that they're trying to get this 4K0 because all they need to do is get one person out of the gate and you're good, right?
Yeah, and I honestly, I think if that flashlight save from Zaka had actually landed, that could have been outs for Eternal.
Yeah, I actually, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, like you said, like it feels really risky, and if it was almost any other team, like I could only think of 3 teams or 2 teams, so I would be like, yeah, that risky play is good. I feel like anyone else, I'd be like, don't go for that. Like, that makes no sense. But like, obviously Zaka is one person to make those like split-second decisions. Like we talked about it before when the set started, right? It's like Nyla and Zaka both, you know, Zaka specifically has some of the best like split-second decision making on the entire team. Like I feel like whenever he makes a split choice, it's usually the correct one. And he was like frames away from actually.
Yeah. And before we go to a break here, let me just guess what 3 teams you're talking about: Eternal, Elysium, and Oh Boy. Am I correct?
Oh Boy. Yeah, I was about to say, like, Eternal, Elysium, definitely the first 2. Oh Boy is up there. You know, situationally, X9 during a Hens tournament, I don't know what it is, but they go crazy when it comes to that. Like, in that specific scenario, they play like the best team in the world. So it's actually crazy to see for sure. But even crazier is going to be this second half of Wraith, and we're going to see, I'm not sure who's going to kill on Eternal's side, but 4K0 is it's the win condition, and let's see if it'll be met after this break. Welcome back, everyone. The stage is set. 4K0, and none other than Zaka to bring it home for Eternal potentially, or Marco, Rocket, Laser, and Hein in order to bring it to a tiebreaker. They have to get one person out. 4K0 get one person out, and that'll be enough to get this going. So we'll have to see how this ends up panning out for the survivors. I feel like relatively the same build between Zaka and Rocket. I think they both ran sloppy, right?
Yep, this is the exact same build coming out from Zaka. And oh, nice point fake there from Marco. Gets the stun onto Zaka, and he can't yet use this window because of Bamboozle. Nice fake there on the pallet there from Marco. Zaka is going to go for a mind game, but it's not going to pan out because Marco takes the nice pathing back around the side of that building. He really doesn't have much here. And it looks like he's just going to go corner now, or maybe the Z-wall. No Z-wall incident going to be happening here, as Zaka is going to go down in the corner, and that's going to be a good first down for him. Or, sorry, not Zaka going down in the corner, Marco going down in the corner, and it's going to be Zaka putting him on the hook.
Yeah, I'm gonna need everyone to type, you know, that point tech into the stun. I'm gonna need everyone in chat to type gig chat Marco or something, right? But we are gonna see that that hook and that pain res coming in for the survivors. So I believe they're also all split on gens, so this could take a little bit of time for this first gen to get done if you're not able to get if you're able to get this survivor rather quickly, right? Zaka on the rocket now, so this is a very I feel like I've seen this 1v1 happen before too, so in DBDL 1v1 ladders. So we'll have to see how long this is going to last for. Rocket doing a really good job, able to go all the way back to water tower, hits the stun for his troubles, and now going to rotate over that. Oh my god, 2 gens get done in the distance. That means Marco's probably going second.
Yeah, we know that Rocket is over on that side of the map. Is he going to get saved before second? Marco, that is. And Zaka not wanting to commit to the Leon here, which is Hein. He's going to be going back to the hook. Marco does go second stage, so where is Rocket is the question.
Yeah, that is definitely the question waiting to be answered, right? We hear this gen getting done, and no, it's just going to be Laser here. That's going to be the tag on the Laser, and now we probably see someone you know, coming over to get this rescue, and just like that, yeah, it is going to be Hein. That for the people is going to be super clutch. You know, you are going to give up another pain res, but at least the 3 gens that you were working on do get done, right? Like, that's like the biggest thing, right? I feel like the thing that would hurt the most is if you start on 3 gens at the beginning of the game and one of them just simply cannot get done because pain reses get staggered onto it, because kicks get staggered onto it. You know, obviously for Calamity they were able to do it, so now with that pain res onto probably Lasers gen, it's probably now you're pretty much starting on a clean slate right now at this point.
Yeah, so this is all going to come down to Zaka's game sense. And I was going to say he's going to need to find Marco, but Marco is already going to get found resetting Laser at the shack. So this is going to be a full health chase, but it is going to be Marco's final chase here. And if Zaka can get this in relatively short order, the win condition is going to be that much easier to meet for him. As Marco is going to throw this filler pallet, immediately takes the vault, nice timing there. And he's going to make it back to this wagon pallet. This pallet is very playable for both sides. Not going to mind game it. He's just going to hold W and go straight to shack and throw it. Good disciplined play here from Marco, as he's now going to take chase. I'm not sure actually where he went, and Zaka doesn't seem too sure either.
Yeah, I feel like you know, on the HUD we might have seen like a fast vault back into shack, but I could be wrong on that. But I think at this point, yeah, like now you have to prioritize maybe the gens at this point.
Yeah, and I think actually Zaka there chose to leave Marco because he sensed that Marco was having a really good chase and was going to be dropping all of these good pallets in a full health chase. So Zaka has judged that it's better to actually go for one of the injured survivors and maybe find Marco in a worse position later in the match. So Hein, now dead at the shack, he's going to go into the basement. 2 generators remaining for Calamity survivors. Remember, they need to get a stage out here to win. Whereas Zaka needs to 4K at 1 generator remaining to win. So Gallows generator here, not a lot of progress here, but Zaka is going to apply a dry kick to it. Now checking around the basement to make sure nobody is stealthing for the unhook. Yeah, and he's actually going to find the injured Laser here near the basement, and Laser is going to go down as a gen pops in the distance. Laser will be slugged, and the basement will be proxied because now he knows where every survivor is.
Yeah, now he knows where every survivor is, and yeah, he could just. I feel like yeah, they might have been doing that gen together. They might have been stacking it just to get it done. And now this is like the really important part of the game. Oh, a little bit of a swing and a miss though. Unfortunately, not going to pan out right there, but that is going to be a dead Hein. Yeah, really smart stuff. Body blocking, not allowing Rocket to get in. Knowing that if you tag Rocket, he gets that speed boost to trade the hooks. And now at this point, it's all for naught. And now you get the tag knowing that Hind is definitely confirmed right here. You know, I feel like you have 2 pain rest stacks. You can slow this game down to a crawl if you're able to find Rocket, you're able to find Laser, which is exactly what he's doing. And now one guess right here at the window is going to be the down, and unfortunately guesses wrong and tries to swing through, but no one home for it. And now that's gonna be it for sure though. So now this is where these pain rests I feel like can hurt, because you're gonna trade maybe 1 pain rest for maybe another stage or 2, because you know you're just delaying that last gen, you know, being completed.
Yeah, this is where Zaka needs to convert on his chases here. This is where the good killers are separated from the great killers. As Zaka is going to find the healthy survivor, Marco, who by the way is Death Hook. So if Zaka does have time to convert on this chase, it is going to be a 2v1. I'm very interested to see if Laser and Rocket are going to reset or not here.
Yeah, I'm actually very curious, because right now Marco was playing that palette pretty well, and now has the ability to go all the way into main, and this makes it a lot more difficult because now you have 2 windows, and your goal is to try to cut someone off. Yeah, at this point you just cut your losses. You take your tag on the Marco, and yeah, really smart stuff. Healing Rocket first, right? Because Rocket is the last pain rest stack. So even if Laser goes down here, you're still delaying that. You're still delaying that last pain res, right? Which now you can spend, you know, working on that generator and not getting punished as intently, right? But it looks like they're just going for this reset right now. Unfortunately, not able to get it.
They just don't have enough gen progress, period, to be not resetting here. As Laser's gonna go up on his second hook, and it looks like Zaka is really closing his grasp on the outcome of this game, as he's going to find the only healthy survivor, which is Rocket. He's not going to make that pallet. It gets hit through it. Goes for the any means fake. Style points there for Rocket. But Zaka is just going to play a little bit of hit and run Wraith. Goes back to kick the gen, but I mean, yeah, he's got Rocket zoned in this kind of a dead zone now that he's kicked all of these pallets. There might still be one here, but like Rocket is zoned now. Oh, but he gets the stun towards the edge map. Uncharacteristic mistake there from Zaka is going to buy a bit more time here for Rocket.
Oh man, you saw that. Oh, unfortunate right there. You saw a little bit of a fake right there from Zaka, maybe trying to get a mind game, and Rocket just out mind gaming the mind game. So really good stuff, but now that's a little bit too much time wasted. If you were able to get that down earlier, then you get another pain rest stack, but now you have to go check these gens. You have to make sure that they don't get that last gen done, because your goal is you need someone dead now at this point.
Yep, Laser going to be faking out the bamboozle on that window. Not going to drop this pallet just yet. This down is so important, and Laser is going to go down. That's going to be a death onto Laser if there isn't a pallet save here, which I don't think there is. But where has Marco been this whole time? Is he on one of these generators?
Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure, but now it's a 2v1 and both players are injured. So now it's going to come down to, it is going to come down to who can get this generator done. If anyone can hold chase for just long enough, then it's tie condition, and then, you know, the whole nother can of worms has been open at this point. But that's the down right there. If the gen's not like 90, then this is good. But at that point, yeah, you just got to slug at this point. There's no point in even picking up and risking, you know, potentially the gen getting done while you're carrying a survivor.
Yes, and because of the Wraith bouncing, we know that there can't be any pickup perks in play, and it doesn't look like these generators are progressed enough, which means that Marco is going to be hunted down here by the Wraith, and looks like he might be going for the pickup onto Rocket. Or I'm not sure if he can sniff out where Marco is here, but Zaka, yes, he is going to find Marco. Zaka is so close to closing this win condition, and he is going to get the final down. Stellar play from Zaka here on the Wraith. He is going to be bringing it home for Team Eternal. It's going to be a 2-0 over Calamity today. But both of these games were so close, ssbkid. You can't count Calamity out of any of these. But in the end, Eternal's survivors just played so incredibly well in both sets, and their killers had their expected results. I mean, this is what we come here to see Eternal do every weekend.
Absolutely, absolutely. Obviously, it could be really easy for us to just, give Eternal all the credit. Obviously, very strong team. Obviously, number two, number one, depending on who you ask, on the planet. But Calamity, like we talked about earlier, Calamity is one of those teams that is always so close, right? And I feel like they just got a little bit unlucky in a situation or two, but like it can go night and day. I've seen them take games off of really strong teams, so their time is definitely coming if they keep polishing up their gameplay. They have some very strong players. The teamwork is almost perfect. But yeah, in the end, Eternal does take it though. So like you said, 2-zip after losing to Arion the last week, coming in on a tear, Eternal ready to finish it out the season with only one loss. They do have that Elysium set at the end of the regular season, which is a couple weeks from now. But on that note, that is going to be it for our set today.